let's talk about that part real quickly. About Zack Sabre Jr. losing here and not wanting to lose in the final and everything. A big aspect that you and I talked about in the chat about the New Japan Cup is how largely it doesn't really matter who wins.
Yeah, because
this cup,
the Moxley match is after Genesis.
Yes, Windy City Riot is after Sakura Genesis. So the winner of New Japan Cup challenges Naito at Sakura Genesis. Whoever wins that match faces Moxley at Windy City Riot. Everyone's fully expecting that match to be Moxley versus Naito, which means the winner of this cup has to lose to Naito.
Yeah.
And if we're all thinking Zack Sabre Jr. as the next winner or challenger or whatever, big time challenger, he could be the Dominion match or something for Naito. He can't win the cup. If you want any of these guys to win the cup, they have to lose to Naito in the challenge.
Right. Exactly.
Now, maybe there's an argument of them winning the cup because they're ultimately going to lose the challenge, so it doesn't quite matter. But yeah, it's whoever wins this cup is losing against Naito. Now, unless they do insanely bold booking that they never do in advertising a match that they end up not having.
Well, the Naito Moxley match doesn't change. The title would just not be on the line.
I guess that's true. They could still do the main event, but people would be upset, to be fair.
Absolutely.
They still could do it, and then they could also do a world title match with whoever else they're bringing in. I don't know, David Finlay versus I don't know. But ultimately, whoever's winning this is probably losing. So right now, you have David Finlay versus Shingo, who is going to be the challenger for Tetsuya Naito at Sakura Genesis. Scotty, who is your pick? After just saying that the winner is going to lose and it doesn't quite matter, really takes
everybody needs a rebel.
What a terrible line. David Finlay getting the win.
He did so good with the lines in the last one. Last one was like, oh well. Yeah, I'm gonna go with David Finlay winning the New Japan Cup. You know why? Because it'd be very fitting for New Japan in their current state.
David Finlay beating Shingo in the finals, finally gets the win, unlike last year. Oh man,
it would be very New Japan to give us give us the hope of having Shingo versus Naito, and then just take it away from us.
Yeah. I didn't finish my bracket here. I got Tsuji against Mikey Nichols. Well, Tsuji getting the win there, baby. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Ren Narita. Huh. Interesting. Does Zack go out here against Ren Narita? Ren Narita finally get his win back for the New Japan title tournament. In some sort of bullshit fashion, probably. Or is it Zack Sabre Jr.? Am I that insane of a take? Am I thinking of two upsets for Ren Narita?
No way.
Zack Sabre Jr. Terrible line. Oh my god.
No way.
And then I'm going to over here.
I know who you're going here.
Now you know me. I have been talking up.
I see who's on the finals on the other side too. I know where this is going.
I'm talking up a path, and this is the moment I'm laying out the path. And this, Lavi, I'm going to bring up your question again. Ryan, why do you have terrible takes sometimes? This is why, Lavi. Evil has a path to win the New Japan Cup, and I don't care. He's going to lose against and it's actually going to play into all of this. Evil currently, look what I've set up here. Evil can beat LIJ member Shigeo Takagi. Yota Tsuji can get a big upset win, almost not really an upset, but a big time win over Zack Sabre Jr. And then it's LIJ member Yota Tsuji versus Evil. And then it's Evil versus Sonata in the finals, in which case Evil could beat a recent challenger in Sonata and face Naito at Sakura Genesis. Evil has the Never title belt. And I know what people are thinking. He's not gonna win the cup because he has the Never title belt. And I want to remind you, folks. So we're gonna go bigger window here. I want to remind you folks, this guy has an infamous image of holding two title belts. You don't see an image again of Evil attacking Naito at some point and holding the IWGP World Heavyweight title and the Never at the same time and recreating that image, but previewing the Sakura Genesis match that he's going to potentially take away the Moxley of it, the Moxley match and make it less interesting. The threat, that's the whole idea of House of Torture, is threatening to take away a good time. And to do that, I have to give you everyone a bad time. So that is why I am picking Evil over Shingo. And that is why I'm picking Tsuji over Zack Sabre Jr. I'm picking Evil over Tsuji, Evil over Sonata to win the whole damn thing. I don't like it. I want
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm pumped about having David Finlay win. Yep. Can't wait.
I want to be clear. I hate this. You hate that. You hate your picks. None of us are excited about this picks. You and I just equally picked. Lobby in the chat. Scott, stop this guy. Let it be clear.
I can't.
You cannot.
I've tried all week.
He knows I was coming in with this take. But let it be clear. You can't say, Scott, stop this guy when you picked David Finlay, who also sucks ass.
I think people like David Finlay more than Evil, to be fair. I mean, the argument
I
here
is, it's a tough. That is what's better, a pile of
yeah, but you
shit
also
or a
had
bag
him.
of shit?
But here's the problem. You had him beat Shingo and
Fuji and Sonata.
You had him roll through everyone that people would like to see do well.
Yeah.
Well, not Sonata, but
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
Everybody needs a rebel. Everything is evil. This is, as everyone can tell, this is not a good time. The New Japan Cup is not a good time.
The big takeaway is you're not going to be happy about the winner of the New Japan Cup. The only way you can be happy is if it's Sabre, and Sabre loses to Naito. Why would we want that? And the reason I'm not picking Sabre to win the New Japan Cup is because I want to see him beat Naito for the title. This is not the time for him to do that. We talked about it. There's a totally possibility, I think, that Tsuji, Uemura maybe does a massive upset run. Shota does an upset run. I doubt Ren Narita. But there's total possibility that
if Shota beats Perry.
Shota beats Perry.
He's running.
He's against Yujiro. And he's beating Yujiro. That's obvious. That's very obvious.
Gosh.
And then it's him versus Sonata. I talked about Sonata, I think, as a gatekeeper for this New Japan Cup. And then you have him beat Sonata. Then you have him probably against David Finlay. And then I don't know about that.
That would have been so much better, though. I would be so much happier about this bracket.
But what you're bringing up is, I think, a similar theme of what I have about Evil. We're talking about path, right? And an interesting storyline path. He beats Jack Perry.
That's what I talked about. Oh, with Shota. Okay. Yeah.
With Shota. He beats Jack Perry, a rival sort of person. He then beats House of Torture member Yujiro Takahashi. He then beats Gatekeeper Sonata. He then beats Bullet Club War Dog winner David Finlay. And if he can meet Ren Narita, a rival somehow, Ren Narita somehow makes it to
or Evil,
or more likely than Ren Narita, Evil, then he beats Evil, House of Torture member, to win the New Japan Cup. That would be a great path for Shota Umino. It's just neither of us think
it would be. It would be a great path. That's why they're not going to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Everyone needs a rebel.
And maybe that is why Shota Umino hasn't been announced for Windy City Riot. Because he might be winning.
I hope you know what? I hope that happens. Do I think it's gonna happen? No. You know why? Because the scapegoat is here.
And by the way, that would be a massive push for Shota Umino. If everybody's clamoring for we need to build up these new stars, the only person that I think has the most interesting path, quite honestly, Tsuji has an interesting path as well. But I think there's more story in Shota Umino. Shota Umino beating House of Torture, Gatekeeper, War Dogs leader, House of Torture Evil to win the cup. That's a massive push, massive chance for Shota Umino to get into the finals and ultimately lose to Tetsuya Naito. But that's a big push, and I think that's a total possibility. But obviously, I'm picking Evil. You're picking David Finlay. Because at the same time of do they push the young stars, there is also the question of elevating these mid-card guys to being proper title challengers, not only title challengers, but potential title winners. That's a big issue for them right now is they have so many mid-card guys. None of these undercard titles matter right now. So we need to elevate some of these guys into that next step. Evil winning the cup might elevate the Never title in some fashion. I doubt it, but in some fashion. Sabre winning it would be nice for him. Sonata would be not that interesting. But you know what I'm saying? Like they need to bump up some of their mid-card guys into being actual, title challengers. We talked about this in the chat with All Japan. All Japan doesn't really have like a lot of big time threats for Nakajima other than Kento Miyahara. And you mentioned that in a weird way, Rookie of the Year, Yuma Anzai is a solid potential winner and defeater of Katsuhiko Nakajima in All Japan. It's totally plausible possibility. And they have a similar problem. They need to build up more like mid-card guys to be actual tenders. New Japan has a similar problem where they need to build up all these other people. They don't really have young guys that can really probably take away Naito's title right now. I don't think so.
No, I think this bracket's awful, and I am probably going to watch like less than 50% of it when it's all said and done. But there are ways to make it good. So I'm sure they will not go down that road.
If you're a hopeful person, if you are an optimist, I think you should be voting and choosing Shota Umino to win this bracket.
I think if you're real, you should be picking Shota Umino.
Yeah.
I'm not real because I have no hope in this company.
Same. And that's why I'm saying everything is evil.
Everything's ass, bro.